I can tell you off top that Nike is for athletes. It's about performance, perseverance, putting in hard work to just do it. I can also tell you that Chick-fil-A is all about Christian values, efficiency, and customer service. And of course, chicken. How do I know that? Because of their branding and their brand identity. So let's dive into what you need to make sure you have for your brand identity of your e-commerce brand. All right, so before I get started, let me just say that this should literally be like step 2 in starting a business or having a business. Step 1, or at least an e-commerce business. Step 1 is figuring out what product you're going to sell, what product or products you're going to sell. After you do that, this is absolutely the next step you need to be taking. So if you have not already done this, backtrack and let's get it done. Okay, so we've got brand identity, brand image, and branding. What's the difference? So let's start off with branding. Branding is probably what you're most familiar with. Those are the things that you're putting out to the universe for others to consume and see. That would be things like logo, brand colors, tagline, things like that. All of that is a part of the branding that you're putting out that people can see when you're marketing and so forth. Brand image is actually on the other side of that. So you've got branding and what you're putting out there, but brand image is actually how others are perceiving your brand. So you're putting out your brand colors and image and things like that, but how are people actually perceiving that? So when I talked at the beginning of this video, I talked about Chick-fil-A and efficiency and things like that. That's part of the brand image that I perceive from them based on the branding they've put out. Clear as mud? And then we have brand identity. And brand identity is what makes your brand your brand. What makes your brand unique, what makes your brand stand out, what makes your brand recognizable as well. Just like a person, we as people have an identity in the things that we've experienced, the things that we do, part of our personality and so forth makes up who we are and our identity. Same with your brand. So let's talk about some of the things that encompass brand identity. So for starters, what is your brand's mission? What's the why behind your brand? Why does your brand exist? That is absolutely imperative for you to know in order to make up or in order to have a good brand identity that stands out and that allows other people to be able to recognize you. Next is brand values. What's important to your brand? What is your brand value? What does it stand on? What is the one thing or few things that you want to make sure when people are coming in contact with your brand, they understand these sorts of things, issues, so forth, is important to you. Next is brand personality and values. Again, as if your brand were a person, what personality would your brand have? Just like we as people have different personalities, what would the personality of your brand be if it were a person? What would the voice be? How would it communicate? What type of language would it use? Would it speak proper English and be poised? Or would it speak slang and relaxed and so forth? So what is the personality and the voice that you want your brand to be putting out to the world? And the last one, what is your UVP, your unique value proposition? So that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you different. How are you different from the 500 other brands who are selling the same products that you're selling? What do you do special? What do you do better than them? Do you offer anything that's different from them? What is it specifically about your brand that would make them what customers want to come to you versus someone else? This can be hard sometimes, especially if you're just starting out. But think about like bread, the different amounts of bread that there are, the different amounts of water, bottled water companies that they are. They each have their own unique value proposition, and those unique value propositions hit with the people they need them to hit with. So what is it about your brand that's different and unique? So as you can see, brand identity is about way more than just logo, brand colors, and so forth. I'm not a graphic designer, nor am I a branding expert. So I'm not going to get into like color psyche and typography and all that stuff when it comes to designing a logo and things like that. My focus for this video is to make sure you understand you have to know who you are as a brand before you can move to the next step with identifying what groups of people will best identify with you as the brand. So hope that was helpful. Next up, we're going to jump into target audience. Now that you're able to identify, or you know what you need to create your brand identity and who you are as a brand, now we can figure out what groups of people will best resonate with that by figuring out who your target audience is. See you in the next video.